Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be going into the EX stage of the new Beatdown Battle versus Leon. This is the stage that you need to beat to get the last free piece of gear for Ainz before it starts going into Inferno, which I haven't even done Inferno 3 yet, because I'm doing that for a video after this. This EX stage is not difficult. They've been making these lower tiered beatdown battle stages easier and easier as the time passes, because it used to be EX3 and then it used to be EX2 and now it's just EX, or it's just Extreme. So it's not, I would say, the most difficult stage in the world. If you have a semi-competent green team, we're going to show off like 5 teams today or something, so I'll have timestamps in the description. 465,000 HP. Looks like a lot, but especially if you have the new collab team, that evaporates very, very quickly. He nerfs blues, so no blue stacking team, unfortunately. He's got physical resistance, pierce resistance, synergy resistance, which does end up stacking a little bit. He's got guard rate, and he seals attack skills on turn 1 and turn 5. And then he gives himself a stacking light buff, and he heals himself every time you lower him to 25% HP. Now, it doesn't happen every single turn. Like, if you lower him to 25, he heals, and you lower him to 25 again, he might heal, like, a second time. He doesn't do it a third time, though, that I've seen. But this is the team I'm going to be running. It's a pretty sweaty team for maximum damage. He's not going to live this team, and it won't take us very long to do anything here. Alright, so stamina. So far, I really, really like Rimuru, and Ainz is kind of okay. I mean, he could be a little bit better, but on this team, especially once we get the other couple units that are coming, I think he's going to look really, really good, as most DPS units do when they get a butt ton of support around them. They look pretty good. So turn 1, we're running Protection Gauge. We're not running Isis here. We brought Nabe because she's got the special orb change convert kind of thing going on, which if we play around with it, it can work out for us in specific ways. We're going to leave Shizuka in the back because attack skills get sealed on turn 1, and I don't want her sealed because I want her weakness strike buff. So 56, 55, 13k, so, I mean, that's turn 1. And we've already deleted a good amount of his health bar. And perfect, look at that shit. So, the power of this team is that we can reset, and we can use the Nabe blue orb change, and because we have an Ainz and a Nabe orb for oranges, we can use the other skill as well. But we have to do it in that kind of specific order. So let's go ahead and bring Shizuka in now. Actually, yeah, let's bring Shizuka in now. And then we'll use her weakness buff for fun. And that'll leave us just enough points to get both orb changes from Nabe ready to go. So we'll use the blue one first, because we want to make sure we change those, and then we'll change the oranges after that. So blue, orange, perfect. Alright, and we've got an ult for both of them, because we got even amounts of orbs here. We're not going to nuke, obviously, quite yet. So we'll send the ult just so we can get it out of here, but I'm not really looking for that. Wow, everything's working out pretty well for us, actually. So let's do 1, 2, 3. And we have to use... No, we just have to use one orb change there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Once that gets reset. So yeah, we can use the future hand of greens next turn as well. Awesome. So boom, boom, boom. That's extra protection gauge on greens now. We've got the live mode for greens. We're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and reset everything up front here. And then we'll use Nabe's orb change, the special convert. Awesome. And then we'll get Shizuka out for Mirai. We'll use her future hand of greens, and that will ensure that the next turn will be actually all greens, because we're not going to get an ult again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's out of order, but who cares? I'm not really looking to kill right here. 27k from Nabe. Alright, whatever. Ainz, 120k, a little better. Okay. Let's see. Guard. Alright, doesn't matter. There's the full hand of greens. Look at that beautiful thing right there. And now, because we're going to be able to reset, we can now just infinitely cycle the future hand of greens and not really have to worry about it. So let's do Rimuru, reset that. I could have done it a little bit in a better order, because I could have used the Despair first, but oh well. Boom, boom. So Despair, so that's now 10% alt resistance down, plus the 2 stacks of Despair, which is going to do like 400 damage or something like that, something terrible. And then we'll get Mirai out, and then we'll use both of Shizuka's buffs right here. So that's another 12% attack, that's another 20% weakness strike, that's another 10% alt resistance down right there. We're going to get an Ainz alt, probably... No, actually not. Cool. So we'll guarantee that the next hand is going to be still 6 greens, and he's almost dead. Or he's going to die here. Oh, he's dead. We didn't even get to nuke. Alright, well, the team's pretty good. When you can't even nuke and he still dies, that means the team kind of runs pretty well. Alright, well, that was lackluster, but hey, we cleared it. And if your team is weaker than that, but you still have these units, then you just wait and you get an ult, and then you do it. But, cool, let's move on. Alright, the second team is going to be the Idol team, but we've replaced a few units here. So, we're not bringing Shuna, because the synergy does not a good thing to have here, because he stacks synergy resistance. The alt swap, I'm not really too worried about, because we're just going to send alts as they come. And then we also took out Tsubasa, because I need a turn 1 orb change for blues, and Isis can do that very, very well, alongside having the green buff. So we still have 3 units that are on Pretty Sparkle, Mirai, Milim, and Shizuka, so at least the front line will be invincible with Rimuru. And then Isis and Lumi, while being dark units and type advantage, will be able to support us. We'll have stacking alt buff here. We'll be stacking live mode and future hands of greens. We'll be stacking a whole bunch of crap with you. Milim will be our single target DPS because she is a dark single target unit. She's given the alt buff. She's given the extra attack buff to dark allies, which, I mean, really just includes herself for all intents and purposes. But this team will run very well because Rimuru is, passively, slowly resetting skill costs. He's stacking magic attack on everybody, which everyone is magic. And he's making the front line invincible, which you can't really argue with, right? So we're going to bring everybody in. Shizuka will get sealed on this turn, but that's fine, because I'm more concerned with using the live mode and the stack of Lumi. So we can forego part of Shizuka's skills, because there are other skills I want to prioritize. So there's the alt buff. We'll use the live mode from Shizuka, and then we'll get Rimuru to convert all those to greens, give us 12% attack. We're going to bring Isis in, I guess, for Lumi. Well, I mean, I guess. Honestly, this battle is not strong enough to where you really need to, maximize your damage. You can get away with 2 or 1 stack of Lumi, and you're going to be just fine because of the other stacking power that this team has. It's just going to run through him. We didn't, the last clip, we didn't even get to actually full-on nuke. We just killed him. So, it kind of shows. Once you get to Inferno, you're going to have to really strategize with this team, because he does a lot of damage, and if you're not invincible on the front line, eventually it's going to hurt a lot, but this is not Inferno 3. This is extreme. Not quite as high stakes, I would say. So here we didn't use the live mode because it didn't have enough points. I wanted to guarantee the future hand of greens here. So we're going to send the Milim ult as it is, because there's no point in holding it because we're not quite ready to nuke yet. I want to get a few more stacks from the live mode and the weakness strike. Shizuka is actually like god. She's god tier for any green team. In her own team, which is a stacking green meta, she worked very well. On this stacking green meta, she's going to work really, really well. Now, she might get, left out or something once the other 3 Overlord units come in, but I still think she's a solid option, right? She's a very solid option if you have her, and look at that. He's almost dead. If we don't kill him here... No, okay, he healed himself. So he's back up to half HP. Not a big deal, because obviously we're not quite ready to nuke anyways. So, live mode. Live mode, and then we're going to, I think, swap Lumi in? Swap Lumi in? Yeah. Swap Lumi in for Mirai. That'll pull in some more Milim orbs, and then we'll nuke next turn on turn 6, because we'll have everything that we need. we've gotten now, what, 3 stacks of the alt buff with Lumi. So we're at 60% extra alt damage, plus what we're going to have from Milim is another 70, plus all the weakness strike and attack buffs and alt resistance down that we've been putting on him. He's probably going to heal again here, actually, because he's, yeah, back under 25. There we go. There's a heal. So he healed twice in a row because we lowered him down to 25 twice in a row. I don't know if he would do it a third time here. I honestly don't know. But here, we're going to be okay, so we're just use the attack buff, or the alt buff, and then the live mode, and then 2 more stacks of Rimuru, or 1, I don't really know. We're going to kill him, though. We used 1, just in case he didn't die. But Milim does 350k. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There we go. The Idols, definitely a good team still, especially in content that is focused on green and long form. Still making their mark. And, I mean, the invincibility didn't really be a factor here. It will be a factor, though, in Inferno. Alright, the next team. Everybody's favorite team. Vengeance. Velzard, Raphael, who is on the Overlord banner. At a very, 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 very low rate, but he is on the banner. Isis, Yom, Furry Shuna, honestly not necessary. You could put someone else in here. And then Veldora, just because I need an orb changer for oranges. So you could bring, skill fuse Water Soa. You could bring free-to-play Earth Aaron or free-to-play Space Sufia. Like, it honestly does not matter because the whole point of this team is to tank damage and kill him over time with Vengeance, which is going to happen. Maybe not as quick as the Idol team, but the Vengeance doesn't kick in until turn 5, and Leon doesn't raise his normal attack, and he doesn't really attack that much either. He's got a single target alt. He attacks like twice maybe a turn, sometimes 3, but rare. So the Vengeance stacks will be kind of hit or miss. Now we are running the skill point units instead of the protection gauge, so we were able to use both Isis, Orb Change, and Green Buff turn 1. That gets us full 100 points right here, and a full hand of greens, which means that we have 100 points, which ideally that means we have 4 skills right here. So an Orb Change, boom, and then Yom will leave for Veldora. Or Furry Shuna. One of them's gonna leave. Yom's out. Fine, doesn't matter. Orb Change, Vengeance, Vengeance. So Raphael's now giving us guard. Shuna gave herself 50% alt gauge. And, I mean, this is essentially how it's going to work. We're just going to stack as much as we can, as fast as we can, on this poor guy. And then by turn 5, we're going to do so much damage, I guess. Alright, so 3 blues would have been unfortunate, except we have both Yom and Isis. So there are times where doubling up on same type orb changers can be a benefit. It's just sometimes it doesn't quite work out like that, and you would have preferred to have like Trya in here or something. Honestly, like if you don't have Furry Shuna, don't worry about it. Just bring free-to-play Trya. Bring free-to-play Tsubasa. Like, just bring another green orb changer. Bring Dark Milim again. It literally does not matter. Like, the Vengeance that we get from Yom and Raphael will be enough that you don't need a third Vengeance unit. Which is why the second half of the Vengeance team is just kind of blah. Right? You've got these 2 units who are uber defensive, and then you've got this Shuna, who is meant to be a DPS, and then you've got Veldora, who's a damage support. Both having Vengeance, though, which is, the whole point of the team. It's like they got confused or something along the way. So, physical resistance, guaranteed crit. We've now sealed him, which doesn't matter because he doesn't raise his attack, crit, or pierce. But it does put the elemental resistance on us, which means that we will take less damage here. And by less damage, I mean 1 damage. Even on his ult. So Leon ults and Raphael takes 1. Awesome. In Inferno 3, it's going to be a lot more. But, hey, it worked, right? It worked. We're at 25 stacks right now on turn 5, so this is now, after this turn is over, this will be where Vengeance starts to kick in and do damage to him. It's just that, because of his heal, right, if the Vengeance doesn't outright kills him and it puts him at 25%, he's going to heal the next turn, because outside of Vengeance, this team doesn't do a lot of damage. So, it's going to be kind of a back and forth between healing, Vengeance, healing, Vengeance, healing, Vengeance, until we eventually do enough damage for the Vengeance to kill him, or or we just whittle him down with our normal orbs into a point where the Vengeance does take him out before he can heal. So yeah. So 100-something K right there, he's down to a third of HP. We've got 3 ults. I mean, ideally, I think here I should have just not sent anything and just put some Vengeance on him and called it good. But we decided to send 3 ults because they're in my hand and I want them out. And that does put him below the 25% threshold. And even though we've put now, 36 stacks of Vengeance plus whatever he's going to do to himself from attacking us, it's not really going to work very well. So boom, boom, boom. And then the Shuna Orb just puts us there. And then there's 100,000 HP. And then Vengeance does 140,000. So now, if we don't kill him here on turn 7, he will heal again. So, boom, and then 2 orb follow-up, boom, boom, and then heal again. So you're going to be stuck in this kind of weird limbo until the Vengeance actually does enough to kill him, or he just stops healing, because that's, what, his 2nd or 3rd heal in a row now? So here, he doesn't heal at all. And then the Vengeance does kill him, 165k. So, his healing is kind of wonky. Like, it happens, it doesn't happen. If it happens too often, it doesn't actually happen, a few times from there. Vengeance will kill him. This team may struggle a bit in Inferno, because we have no way to fully negate the damage, but it still works for Extreme. Definitely works for Extreme. Alright, the next alternate team we're going to use is the Dark 2.0 first anniversary team. We've got Veldora, who's just doing what Rimuru does, but less, I guess is the best way to say that. Dark Milim will again be on the team, but this time as our DPS unit. And then we've got Isis. We've got the anniversary Rimuru, who is going to give guaranteed crits and crit damage to Dark allies. And then Shinsha will be our sub-DPS character as another single target, alongside the pretty big Dark buff, Dark resistance down. And then her second skill has the crit resistance down and extra skill points on every orb. And then Trya will handle a lot of our other orb changing. So we have 3 orb changers here, 2 special converts, and a dedicated blue, which means that we should be able to run this efficiently. I'm assuming that once we get one of the other Overlord units, Trya will be replaced, because they'll ideally have like a triple orb change to green or something that'll cover oranges. Because we're really missing a good unit that does that. So I think that is definitely in the cards. We're running Protection Gauge turn 1 instead of the skill points, so we only can use the orb change for Isis here, which, isn't a terrible thing. Now, he does seal us, but I'd rather have Shinsha be sealed than Rimuru, because Rimuru pretty much is never going to see the front line until the nuke turn. Shinsha will be up here quite a bit to get her ult, so she's okay being sealed because it's going to wear off. But otherwise, this team will run the same. It just won't do as much damage. But we're still doing a decent amount. And, okay, we got a perfect turn 2 right there. That's what we want to see. So let's do the orb change, let's do the green buff, let's do the resistance down and the skill point gain. And, I mean, this is essentially what we're going to be doing the entire time. Now, Veldora, instead of stacking permanent, element buff like Rimuru, he's stacking magic attack. And it starts at 10, and it goes up to 70, and then it caps at 70. And every time you use a skill, it goes up by 5. So it starts at 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and it goes all the way up to 70, and then it stops. So that's why he's just kind of a worse Rimuru. But he is, over a year old now at this point, so the fact that he's doing what Rimuru does in any capacity is still pretty good, especially for such an old unit. The only thing he's not doing, though, is giving us extra skill points on greens, which means we have to really make liberal use of Shinsha's second skill to be able to get all those extra points. Then also Milim, because Milim is also giving us an extra 100% or 5% each time. So we'll do this and we'll do that. We want to make sure that we can use enough skill points to actually get Veldora capped out, which doesn't take very long on a green stacking team, quite honestly. So it's not truly a big, huge deal. We have a Milim ult, and we're going to wait for that to wear off, but I guess I could take her out now. I mean, there's no harm in it. It's like we're not missing any stacks because we'll be using Veldora on the nuke turn. So yeah, let's just take her out. Let's bring Trya in. Let's use her orb change. And let's then reset everything. This still has the green buff for 2 more turns. Perfect. So yeah, let's reset those. And then we'll get Trya back out of here to keep her in the back for the best use case, I guess, is what we're going to call it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so now he's guarding, so we're going to do a lot less damage here. Not a big deal, though, because we will be able to nuke. Like, between the crits and the magic and the dark attack that Shinja's going to get, we're going to be just fine. Yeah, so you know what? Let's actually have some fun here. So let's do the Shinja resistance down again for fun. And then we'll get her out of here, right? Yeah, out of here. Goodbye. And look at that. So, let's do this orb change. Boom. Let's do this reset for Milim. We'll use her orb change. And then we'll get we'll get her out of here for Trya. And we'll use her orb change. And then we'll use green buff. And then we're also going to yoink this ult, just for fun, because I can, and I never use this skill. So in case you don't know what, first anniversary Rimuru does, this little effect here for 2 turns, if they launch an ult at you, you steal it. And he doesn't damage you, and you get an ult. Which, I mean, is cool. It was gimmicky when he first came out. It's not really very useful nowadays, only in very specific scenarios, but if I'm going to use it, I'm going to use it. And if I'm available to use it, I certainly will. So, absorb skill, and there's an ult for Rimuru. Boom. Awesome. So now we're on turn 5. We're not quite capped out yet, but we're looking pretty good with these skills, I would say, right here. So let's do Veldora's reset again, and then we can just use all of Trya's skills, and we'll get a full hand. So boom, boom. So change, and now we just gotta wait. Just gotta wait now. And none of our units are sealed. I think actually Rimuru will get sealed here, if I'm not mistaken, on turn 5. Which is unfortunate, so we'll have to leave him back up for that to wear out. But we're under 25% HP, which means he's going to heal himself, which is nice, because I actually want to nuke with Milim. Oh, we synergied there too, which actually cut our damage. Alright, back up to half HP. That's okay. And there's the seal. Okay, so yeah, Rimuru's going to have to be here up until turn 8, which is fine. It's fine. But do we have enough points? So we need 55, 55, and 80, so we need 190, and we got 190. So you know what? Let's just hold here. Let's just hold here and wait for it. Trya's ult won't do anything. Yeah, peanuts. Alright. So we'll burn another turn after this, and then we'll go ahead and big-time nuke. Big-time nuke! And we gotta make sure that people have orbs, so let's go ahead and get these Isis orbs out of here. In fact, you know what? Let's just bring Milim up front. Let's bring Milim up front now. And Trya. Let's get Trya out here. Actually, both of you don't matter at this point. So, 1, 2. Perfect. Perfect. And now we shall nuke. The seal is leaving Rimuru. Awesome. And now we can full nuke. So we've got the guaranteed crit and dark allies get crit damage. Perfect. We've got the ult damage plus the dark, attack for 25%. And then we have the full capped out 70% dark attack and 10% dark resistance down. And then we can go ahead and use another stack of Shinja's debuff. Because we have more than enough points, I don't really care about resetting it. Because he's going to die. And then Veldora has been capped out at 70% for a while, so now that's extra magic damage. So now Milim has dark attack, normal attack, ult damage, crit damage, magic attack, and she's going to go dummy on this. Milim does 529k. Awesome. Perfect. To get free gear, this is a very old team. If you've been playing for an amount of time, you may have pulled them. And you know what? This is why I like this team, because it runs pretty well. And that's why I like this Overlord team, because it runs the same way, as long as you have the orb changes set up. It runs the same way, it's very consistent. And Veldora is much worse, but as you can see, if you have orb changers, like Trya solves most of your problems if you really have them for orbs. So, Dark 1.0, 2.0 team, very good. I don't know how well it's going to work in Inferno, but we'd probably have to bring Guy to stun more than anything. But, that'll be a different video. Alright, that's going to do it for part 1 of the Extreme Beatdown Battle video. I've got like 3 more teams that are, very, very alt teams. I'll do it as a part 2, but, there's a number of teams that can do the EX stage to get the free gear at least. Inferno is a different story because he goes from having 465,000 health to a bit more than that, to 1.7 million. So obviously teams are going to be limited in that aspect. But if these teams don't work for you and you still need to clear Extreme, stay tuned for part 2. It'll come in a day or so, maybe 2 days. I'm not quite sure on my scheduling yet. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.